If you saw me at 80 years old and asked me what keeps me steady, you might expect me to say medication or good genetics or luck. It isn't. It's how I start my mornings. And I didn't understand that at 50. There's something about the first 2 hours of your day that either strengthens you or slowly weakens you. I learned that late, but I learned it clearly. If conversations like this help you think a little deeper about your own life, would you take a moment to like and subscribe? It allows me to keep sharing what many of us seniors are quietly discovering as time moves forward. I go through the comments myself, one by one, and I really value what you're willing to open up about. My name is Richard Lawson. Most folks call me Rick. I'm 80 years old. I've been married to Mary for 58 years. We raised Tom and Lisa in Cedar Falls, Iowa. I spent 35 years at the same manufacturing plant. I've lived a steady life. But these days, what keeps me feeling sharp isn't a job. It's discipline. I wake up at 5 a.m. on the dot. No alarm most mornings. My body just knows. The house is quiet, dark. Even the air feels different at that hour. Mary is still asleep. The world hasn't started demanding anything yet. That hour belongs to me. Before my eye go outside, I bless the Lord, not in a dramatic way, just honest gratitude. At 80, you don't assume you're entitled to another sunrise. You receive it. I sit there and name 10 things I'm grateful for. Out loud sometimes, quietly other days. I'm grateful I woke up breathing steady. Grateful the sun is rising over Cedar Falls again. Grateful my blood pressure readings have stayed consistent. Grateful for 58 years with Mary. Grateful for Tom and Lisa. Grateful for my grandchildren's laughter. Grateful for the strength to walk. Grateful for Buck. Grateful for forgiveness. Grateful for one more fresh day. 10 things. It steadies your spirit. You can't complain and give thanks at the same time. One will win. I choose gratitude early. By the time I stand up, I'm anchored. That's habit number 1. Around 5:30, just as the sky begins to lighten over Cedar Falls, I hear a truck ease into the driveway. I don't need to look. I know that engine. It's been pulling in at about that same time for years now. Buck. We enlisted together in 1965. 2 young men who thought we were tougher than we really were. 4 years active duty, Vietnam era. We were 22 when we stepped back into civilian life in 1969. 22, but feeling much older than that. That same year, I married Mary. I had already proposed to her before I was shipped out. I still remember standing there, nervous, trying to sound steadier than I felt. She said yes without hesitation. While I was overseas, we sent letters back and forth, real letters, ink on paper. Some weeks that envelope was the only steady thing in my life. Her words kept me grounded, kept me sane, gave me something solid to hold on to when everything else felt uncertain. But that's a much longer story. I'll bring you that one another time. Back then, Buck and I were young and restless. Now we move slower, climbing out of the truck. Knees aren't what they used to be, but when he shuts that door and gives me that same quiet nod, I still see the 22-year-old standing there beside me. We meet almost every morning and head out to the Big Woods Lake Recreation Area here in Cedar Falls. If you've ever walked those trails at sunrise, you know how quiet it feels. Trees tall and steady, light breaking through branches, the world waking slowly. We walk at a firm pace, not trying to prove anything, just steady. We talk about everything and nothing. Sometimes we laugh about something ridiculous. Sometimes we dig up old stories from our service years, not to relive them, just to remember who we were. Movement keeps the body alive. Brotherhood keeps the spirit alive. At 80, isolation can sneak in quietly if you let it. That walk makes sure it doesn't. By the time we finish, my lungs feel open. My mind feels clear. My legs feel warm. But the real strength comes from knowing I showed up. That's habit number 2. When I get home, Mary is up, always moving. She's been a busy bee her whole life. Still is. I make breakfast. Nothing fancy. Simple. Steady. Eggs and fruit. Oatmeal and nuts. Coffee just the way she likes it. Then we sit together at the kitchen table. I ask her what's on her agenda. A church meeting, calling Lisa, organizing something that probably didn't need organizing. And I listen. There was a time in my life when I rushed through mornings. Back when I worked at the plant, my mind was already at the factory before I finished chewing. Not anymore. Shared mornings build strong marriages. That's habit number 3. After breakfast, I head to the garage. Not to sit, not to scroll, to build. Sometimes it's restoring an old tackle box. Sometimes sanding down a small wooden shelf. Sometimes fixing something that technically could wait. But my hands move. In the Army, idle hands meant you weren't ready. At the plant, idle hands meant you weren't needed. So I don't let my hands go idle now. A man should still produce something, even at 80. I want my grandchildren to remember that Grandpa didn't just sit in a recliner. He made things. He fixed things. He stayed capable. Purpose keeps your posture upright. That's habit number 4. Around mid-morning, I sit down with a notebook. This isn't gratitude again. I've already done that. This is inspection. In the service, everything got inspected. Boots, gear, discipline. So I inspect myself. Was I impatient yesterday? Did I speak sharply to Mary? Did I avoid something I knew I should face? Did I waste time? It's easy at my age to excuse yourself. You've earned rest. You're old now. But character doesn't retire, so I sharpen it daily. I read scripture slowly. I ask the Lord to keep me steady, not comfortable. Then I read something that stretches my thinking. History, leadership, economics, something that forces my mind to work. The body ages. The mind doesn't have to surrender. That's habit number 5. And before noon, I do one thing I don't feel like doing. Just one hard thing. Make a call I've been putting off. Handle paperwork. Fix something that irritates me. Have a conversation that requires honesty. Just one hard thing. If comfort wins early, it wins the whole day. If you win early, the day respects you. Then around 1, I head to church. Not just on Sundays. Most weekdays, you'll find me walking through those doors with a small toolbox in my hand or a folded bulletin tucked under my arm. The building is quieter in the afternoons. Sunlight comes through the stained glass windows in long colors across the floor. You can hear your own footsteps echo a little. There's always something that needs tending to. A loose hinge on a classroom door. A row of chairs that need straightening, tables that need setting up for a community dinner, boxes that need sorting. Sometimes it's planning an outreach event. Sometimes it's sitting in a circle with a handful of older men and women who refuse to drift into the background. We don't move fast, but we move steady, and steady matters. There's dignity in being useful long after the world stops expecting you to be. I don't go there to be noticed. I'm not looking for a title. I'm not trying to prove I still have it. I go because service keeps a man aligned. If a chair wobbles, I fix it. If someone struggles to carry something heavy, I step in. If paperwork needs organizing, I sit down and organize it. Small things, quiet things, but small things compound. You don't retire from being needed. You decide whether you'll still show up. By the time the afternoon rolls around, I've already prayed. I've walked. I've laughed with Buck. I've built something with my hands. I've inspected my own character. I've faced one hard thing, and I've served someone other than myself. That changes a man, not dramatically, structurally. Since I built this rhythm into my life, I don't feel like I'm fading into the background of my own story. I feel anchored. I feel disciplined. I feel useful. Energy isn't just physical, it's moral. When you wake before the sun, when you give thanks, when you move your body, when you sharpen your character, when you serve others, you carry yourself differently. You walk upright, and upright matters. The world may see an 80-year-old man moving a little slower. I see a man still on duty, not duty to a factory clock, duty to faith, duty to family, duty to legacy. And as long as I can still walk through those church doors and make something a little steadier than I found it, I know I'm not done yet. Tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. on the dot, I'll rise again. Not because I have to, because I choose to. That's the difference age has taught me. When you're young, you wake up because responsibility drags you forward. Work, deadlines, noise. When you're older, especially at 80, no one is standing over you anymore. No whistle blows, no supervisor checks the clock. You rise because you've decided your life still matters. Let me ask you something. If you treated your mornings like sacred ground instead of spare time, how different would your life look a year from now? If you guarded that first hour like it was shaping the man or woman you're becoming, what would change? Your patience, your health, your marriage, your focus, your faith. A year sounds long. But I've lived enough years to tell you, it passes quicker than you think. Small disciplines compound. Quiet choices stack up. And one day, you look in the mirror and realize you either built strength or drifted. I read every comment myself. I truly do. And I believe there's a reason you felt led to be here, listening to this today. If reflections like this steady you, strengthen you, or wake something up inside you, please like and subscribe so I can continue sharing what many seniors quietly learn as the years go by. Tomorrow morning is coming either way. The question is, will you rise on purpose? I'll see you at sunrise.